What is going on out there, everybody? Rooster here in Tennessee, looking at another piece of equipment. Finally got a day off to do a few videos out here. I'm going to use this little Sonar BR-21 to drive a Dentron later that I had a guy interested in. A gentleman was wanting me to do a video on it, and I'm so sorry it's taken me so long, but finally we're getting to do some videos here. The Sonar BR-21 that we're looking at today is a 4-tube sweep tube amplifier. Obviously you can see the tubes in there. If I'm not mistaken, they are 6 JB6s. If I'm wrong on that, someone please drop a comment in the comment section and let me know. But 6 JB6s, I do believe. Really a simple amp. You've got your meter over here that indicates your plate current and RF indicator. The meter wasn't working earlier, but I think it's in the switch. I just worked this switch back and forth, and it seemed to start working fine. We'll demonstrate that here in a second. I've never had the lids off one of these until this one, and the only reason I've got the lids off this one is this fan was being super noisy. I had bought it and never hooked it up or anything. I bought 2 of them together and sold one of them, and then I had this one. I let the guy pick which one he wanted, and then I kept this one and hooked it up, and the fan was ultra noisy. So I just clipped the wire on the fan to stop it. I don't know if it's dragging on something underneath or what's going on with it, or if it's just vibrating up against this transformer. That could be a possibility. When the fan's running, it could just be vibrating against this transformer. But anyway, I couldn't run it in my house, and I wouldn't expect anybody else to run it with all that noise. But really a simple amp. It's already pre-tuned. I do believe this little knob over here is the tuner for it, but like I said, it's basically tuned already. I didn't touch it, and it's putting out more than what I would expect it to do. Obviously that's your power transformer to the right there, and yeah, that's about it. I think it's got a small keying tube on this side, or some sort of tube on this side, but that's about it. Really a simple box. I do have the cover for it. Like I said, I just have the cover off of it, and these were made for the FS23s, FS2340s, and the 3023. I think that's the big 3 Sonar base station CB radios, and those are great tube type radios in themselves. Sonar made some really good stuff, really trouble free as far as tube stuff goes from what I've owned. I've never really had any issues, but we'll get into testing this one. First I'll show you that the meter works. Hello. That's an RF power indicator, and I'm assuming that's calibrated for a 100-watt scale, and we're just pegging it against the wall. Now we're driving it with about 35 watts. Peak, I would really recommend probably not going over 20 watts or so peak. For testing purposes, we're not going to kill it driving 35 watts into it, but for everyday use, a Browning, a Tram, a Sonar, Cobra 2000, something like that would be more ideal. We'll put it on the plate current side here and test it. Hello? Hello? Now I don't know what we're supposed to be looking at for current. Hello, 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 hello. But it's just an indicator. That meter's probably been replaced. I don't think that's the factory meter that came out in it. Again, I could be wrong. And then off. Obviously the meter won't work in the off position. Excuse me. This is a standby right here, and this is obviously your power on and off switch. Let's come over here. We'll test it on the meter real quick. We've got a 500 watt slug, so it means we're going to be looking at the middle scale. This is on a dummy load, of course. Oil can dummy load. We'll key it up. Our RF power is all the way down the radio. This radio barely keys anything with RF power down. So it looks like we're keying about 5 watts or so. Audio, we're looking at the middle scale, 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 middle scale. That's about 130 peak. Test, 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 test. Audio test, 1, 2, 3. Audio test, 1, 2, 3. It's holding up good at 130 peak. Let's put it on average power for those that wonder about average power. Yes, I know someone's going to comment and say, you only read AM outputs, only read in peak power. I know that, obviously, but a lot of people like to use bird average as a reference, especially if they have stuff that they don't have a slug big enough to read peak. They want to know what something does bird. That way they kind of figure out what's going to make their stuff do. So we'll test it in bird average here. Again, that's no peak kit on. We're average power only. And we're keyed up. Audio, audio, audio. Almost looks like 45 to 50 watts. Audio, audio. Audio, 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 audio. About 45 to 50 watts average. That's it. I kind of like this thing myself. I think it'd be killer for a, it'd be killer for the amp that I'm going to do a video on later, the Dentron with 4572Bs. It'd be killer for a single 500Z driver. And it'd be killer just as a little standalone, just a local talk on. Pretty cool little amp. Anyway, this one's for sale. If it doesn't sell, I'll hook it up and talk on it myself for a little while on the ground plane and fool around with it. But it is for sale. If you're interested in it, shoot me a text, 423-299-3535. And this is an amp that I would ship. Normally, I don't like shipping tube-type amps, but this one's so small, I would ship it. And by the way, it does have a new power cord on it. I guess I should include that. This power cord's super heavy-duty, super nice. And it's in real good shape. But that's it. The Sonar BR-21. Questions, comments, complaints, shoot me a text message and we will get back to you. I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll have some more videos uploading soon. 73s.